Welcome back to the Big Blue Lifers podcast. I'm Mr. U. That's Jess. We're here to talk about all things New York Football Giants. How's it going, brother?
It's going. Work's got me stressing, but otherwise, I'm just hoping the Giants look entertaining and still lose these last three games. Let's get that number one overall pick. Let's sell it for a king's ransom. That's my thought process here, essentially.
I think we can safely say that's probably what's going to end up happening because we're playing everybody really close, and then for some reason things just bottom out in the fourth quarter. We've been talking about that for several weeks now. So the prediction for that to happen looks really good. We'll be competitive and we'll keep everybody's energy up, but at the end of the day, we'll end up losing the 3 games and probably retain the top pick and get somebody to come a call in because I don't see us using that. But we'll go ahead and get into more of that, some things around the Giants world and kind of get into some stuff. So I don't know where you want to begin at, man, but I just I don't know if we want to get into that stuff, but we're at a point in the season, man, where it just seems like it's almost impossible to stay buoyed and on top of the water when it comes to what's going on with the Giants. It's like it's really hard at this point because we've seen so much football and we've seen a lot of internal changes. If you've been watching and listening, you know that there's been changes in the coaching staff and maybe perhaps even some more. You got guys that are being booted and we don't even understand what happened. Like with Brian Cox, like what? This is about, your seat on the bus. I'm here to talk about the last straw. Man, what's been going on? Now, as a Michigan fan, you already know what I'm dealing with already. So I'm like, okay, this has been going on for months and years, and the public had no idea that these things was happening. So now I'm sitting here on the heels of that. I'm sitting here like, so what's been going on with the Giants that a guy gets fired because he couldn't take it anymore because his seat on the bus was not where it was supposed to be? So I'm feeling like there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes, and it just kind of just screams to me as a longtime Giants fan, I've been blue since as long as I can remember, that we need to have a tight organization. These are the kind of teams that win championships and create lasting destinies. Just got to talking about the Chiefs. It's been 10 years. I don't know if you realize that. It's been 10 years that they've been constantly in playoff contention. And it's like, when's the last time we seen that with our beloved New York Football Giants? It's been a long time that we had anything even look like that. No kind of really, no destiny, just no dynasty talks surrounding our team whatsoever probably in history because we haven't had that kind of longevity. So along with winning games and bringing in guys that's going to bring us back to the New York Giants football that Carl Banks wants for us so badly, we know that we got to have a tighter and stronger organizational structure. So I don't know all that's going on, but we can get into some of the things that's happening. But for me, I'm just like, we just need to have a lot of things happen to kind of come together and work. As just a new head coach, but perhaps a GM, which we talked about last week, I think it was, and week before. I think Schoen, well, I'll start there. I guess then we can go ahead and move into some other stuff. I think it's time for Schoen to go ahead and take that step. I think that Marvin needs to pull the trigger on this one. I thought about it, and I know that he has done some things to better the finances. But honestly, I think about guys like Evan Neal and Hyde, who you're not going to see on that field for the rest of the season. It's almost a certain fact. You won't see them on the field anymore. It's an indictment of what he didn't take advantage of when he had the opportunity. Because I don't care what they offered him, who these other teams were. I don't know if it could have been the Raiders, probably. Other teams that offered something for Hyatt, Neal, and I think some other names as well. And you turned them all down to keep them on the roster to a point where you can't pay him or you won't pay him, and they just drift away for nothing. That's an indictment of his GM capabilities. So just saying that because we're talking about organizational structure and just the lack of clarity with some stuff and just what's going on, because that Brian Cox thing, I'm like, that's been festering for a while. You don't flip out for something like that. You're an adult. So something's been going on for a while for you to get you. So I'm like, what's going on behind the scenes? If everybody's been fired except Joe Shea, he's the only one that's left beside Mara, then that means you probably are a part somewhere of this organizational strife. So for me, I'm like, you know what? If you want to clean house and bring some new people in and take a run at being relevant again, I think he has to go as well. But not sure what you want to start off with today, but man, I just want to get that off my chest. You can go wherever you want to go, brother.
I mean, I'll work off of that for a little bit here before I get into the stuff that I think, because we can only say so much about Shane that hasn't already been said. The truth is that, I mean, I had tried to defend him for a long time because I liked the thought process. The issue is the results haven't been there. And at the end of the day, this is a results-driven league. You need to have the results. You can't just be like, well, I helped modernize things. I helped put the cap in a better spot. And the truth is, for all of the people out there who are acting all doom and gloom about the cap, we have a lot of maneuverability here that without doing any kind of insane major restructuring, we can free up over $30 million this offseason. And it'll involve having to trade and or cut some guys. But at the end of the day, like, I think whoever comes in here is going to have to do some stuff like that anyways. And again, if we want to restructure or extend some guys like Brian Burns, maybe we give him a slight extension, put some money towards the later years there. There are plenty of things we can do to get the cap into a much better position, to make some moves in free agency. I 100% agree with like Neal, Hyatt, Banks, all of these guys that mostly the guys that he seems to have drafted, where I don't know if it's ego or refusing to give up on these guys, but for whatever reason, he wouldn't take whatever deal came his way. If we could have gotten a fifth-round pick for Hyatt, and then we could have kept Lil Jordan Humphrey on the active roster the whole time. Like, there are plenty of things that we could have done that I think would have been better, especially in hindsight, than keeping these guys. Like, I was a Banks over Flock guy just because I'd never seen Flock be good in the regular season prior. And I'm like, at least there's something that we saw from his rookie year there with Banks. But it's like Flott's gotten better, Banks has gotten worse, and guess what? Flott is having his career year right as his contract's about to expire. So now we're going to have to be like, is this sustainable? Is this who Flott is going to be moving forward? A solid-ish corner in the NFL where, it's like he's not anything special, but if we give him like a 3-year deal for $12 million a year, that's not going to be this heinous contract sort of thing. So like there's all of these different things that I think that could have been done, that should have been done, that he didn't do. But at the end of the day, I still think he was better than Gettleman. That's where I'm going to end that.
If that was the question, yeah, that'd be an easy one. But yeah, and you and I discussed this probably for months now, whether it was ego or not. Only reason why I feel like there's no other option but ego, because if you didn't want to give up on Neal and Hyatt, you would give them playing time. How do you say I'm not going to give up on you, but I'm not going to play you? That doesn't register. So you're not playing them and giving them sufficient time on the field, because neither one of them really had that. You are giving up on them, so it is an ego thing for you to not take those calls. But I mean, another thing that's going to be something you're going to hear about a lot in media circles is the amount of money spent on 4 specific guys: James Hudson III, Chauncey Golston, Javon Holland, and Paulson Adebo. Honestly, despite the injury situation, they have not been good. And we're talking about $130 million approximately, I think somewhere around that way. Might be a little bit higher than that, but around $130 million spent on these 4 guys that have not produced. That's going to be on him. I like the projection that we have as far as the finances, right? I think we're going into around $18 million free going into 2026 before we do any kind of cuts. I think I talked to you about it. If I didn't text you about it, I was thinking about it. Guys like John Runyon, who they've been around for a while, man. You can definitely upgrade at that spot. Gano, who's like, it's been nothing but grief this year, and then some. Singletary is a guy who is basically raising his stock right now by the way he's playing right now. So this is really, really good. We can definitely get something for him more than what we thought because he's looking like somebody who can be an RB2 somewhere on somebody's roster. And then lastly, I think back to Hudson again. So we can probably lose about 24 million. Lose meaning we can get rid of $24 million and free up that amount of space. So there's a lot of things that's going to go fall back on Schoen because GMs, man, all the financials and the money spending, it's not a head coach situation. It's a GM situation. So it's going to fall back on him. But I think a lot of it is ego. And I'm kind of just like, I don't know how we can move on and do new things with the same mindset that is the only common denominator left on the team, really, is him. So, yeah, we can go ahead and move forward to the combo, brother, but I had to get that out there because I think that's where the problem lies, man. So we got a lot of work to do.
At this point, Schoen is the problem. Like, there's no getting around that. There's no beating around.
Nobody else left.
Like,
he's the last man standing.
And honestly, like, I mean, I'll talk about some good and I'll talk about some bad from the game, but I want to focus on two key pieces here, and they were our first round picks this year. Abdul Carter had a phenomenal game. It was his best game as a pro so far. Absolutely. I think he had something like 7 tackles, a sack, 2 forced fumbles, a couple tackles for loss. He recovered one of the fumbles. He was all over the place. This is a guy who we thought we were getting at pick number 3, and there's been flashes of it. There have been flashes of it over the course of the season, but a lot of it has gotten a lot of the positives have gotten bogged down, and the focus has been a lot on his character these past couple weeks because he's had these like minor suspensions, some team selected suspensions.
I don't even know is that even true? I don't even know what to believe, but I'm just like, just play ball, man.
There was the thing that I told you about last week with what he was allegedly watching. That is not confirmed by any means. It was something that I thought was like, that is so crazy, especially if it's true. But that was the only thing reason that I saw people, like multiple people discussing and reporting it. And I'm like, okay, that's crazy. That has to be an alleged. I'll bring it up, but we still haven't. I don't think I haven't seen any official confirmation as to why he missed like the entire first quarter last week against the Patriots. I guess it wouldn't. Was it last week against the Patriots or 2 weeks ago? Whatever it was.
Yeah.
Whenever that was. But the issue is that can he do this consistently? Like, is this who he is going to be moving forward? Like, and I think it was Dexter Lawrence came out with a quote saying that, like, look, we know what Carter is capable of, but he has to dedicate himself. He has to remain focused. And that's going to be something we're going to probably want to talk about a little bit down the lines is this Dexter Lawrence's last year in New York. As crazy as that is to say, because what can we, that's going to be a point of contention. But then I want to talk about, and this is where I think we're going to spend a lot of time today, Jackson Dart. This was not a great game by Dart. I don't think it was nearly as bad as some people are making it out to be. Some throws were off. He made a couple phenomenal throws. He had some throws where it's like, dude, where were you putting that? There seemed to be a bunch of miscommunication with Jalen Hyatt on that interception. There was miscommunication. Exactly. He and Wandale didn't seem to be on the same page on those last couple of throws towards the end there. If this is as bad as it gets with a rookie Jackson Dart, I will take that 1,000 times. But he does need to be better. It does seem like these past couple of weeks, granted one was against the Patriots, who have one of the better defenses in football. But now that in the games we have seen from Jackson Dart, without Brian Dable there, with just Kafka, it has not been great. It has not been as high of highs as it was in the beginning of the year. Now, again, it hasn't reached lows like some of these other rookie quarterbacks have had with these, again, I don't think it would. I know there's a lot of Jackson Dart versus Shador stuff going on, but Shador played better, I think, than his numbers would suggest yesterday. You see 3 interceptions. One of those interceptions was literally a ball that was placed so perfectly into Jerry Jeudy's hands. The defender just happened to rip it out of Jeudy's hands, and it's marked as an interception. But even with that, Dart has not had a game as bad as what Shador played yesterday. So a bad Jackson Dart game is still good, but it is it is mildly concerning to me that Dable leaves, and we all know Dart was Dable's guy.
Mm-hmm.
Dable leaves, and now we're starting to see like a little bit worse from him. And that to me is a bit of a concern.
Ooh. I want to hang out on that one for a little bit because, and this is by no means saying that Dayball should have stayed, because I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Dayball and Schoen were a package deal. One goes, other should go too. In regards to the performance that we saw, I think what you said was right. It wasn't his worst game, but I know he missed nearly a dozen throws, and that wasn't pretty. We're relying a lot on moxie with him as opposed to making smart decisions. That makes me a little nervous, but only because you and I had a back and forth about it early on in the season. We're like, should he come in early? What is the most ideal scenario? Should he get in by week 4? And I was saying, no, Russ can hold it down longer than that. Found out that Russ couldn't do that. So we were like, okay, so and Jameis came in and he was doing some great things for us and helping us out. But when it comes to Dart, man, it's just rookie stuff that we're looking at right now, or is just really bad coaching, or is it a combination of both? Is it A, B, and C? I mean, I'm trying to figure out what's going on because he's missing throws, he's doing some things that are not wise, and it's like we don't want a guy who's going to be. And you're going to get to this point because we discussed it off air about the bias from the media, but I want to just make sure that once we get to the place where we start talking about adding coaches in here, maybe we need to start thinking about this kind of stuff. Who needs to be there that's going to help him develop? Because I don't know who the QB coach is right now. To tell you the truth, even though this is my team, I've been with them for decades, nearly my entire life. I don't know who the QB coach is. I can't even tell you the names. So it's like this is kind of where things are for me right now. But that person is going to help him develop into the kind of quarterback that's going to have longevity in this league. If you're trying to be a running back, a tight end, and a wide receiver and a quarterback at the same time, you're gonna have a hard, maybe even a short life in this situation. So I don't know what we're looking at. Are we looking at just rookie blunders, or are we looking at something where it's like, you know what, this man needs to be coached by somebody who actually knows what they're doing? I wonder about that. I was watching SNF last night, and I was looking at who JJ McCarthy, Michigan guys, that Go Blue. I love JJ. And I look at the guy that was sitting here in his ears, and I'm like, yeah, he's been a backup for the majority of his career, but guess what? That's a man that will help a quarterback develop. He has the pedigree to be able to do so. Who do we have that's helping Dart do that? Because Daboll, for his credit, he was known to be a QB whisperer, apparently, in Buffalo, but he was helpful, and now he's not there. You're seeing some changes and perhaps a little bit of drop-off. So who's going to be coming that's going to be able to help him do that? That's my eyes going to be watching that. Who you bring in to help with that? Because he needs to have that. So I'm kind of concerned about that part. Jameis is a good guy to be back there to help him as a backup. I mean, you got Russ in there for right now, but it doesn't seem to be translating very well. So I want to get into that media bias thing that you were talking about, because I feel like that's a big deal. Because you mentioned Shador. I wasn't going to go there, but you mentioned that Shador part. I'm like, wow, okay, now we're going into a whole different level of a situation, because that media bias thing is still real with that. People made a big thing about Shador, saying that he needs to humble himself He can't have this moxie and this swagger and it's off-putting to people. And Dart has the same thing, but it's nobody really cares about that part of it. But his being a runner is where they have a concern. I'm like, we got running quarterbacks in this league. They're out there. I just mentioned JJ. You think he won't run when the opportunity presents itself? Drake May was running all yesterday. Josh Allen does it for a living. Sometimes he pays a price for that sometimes, but he probably does a lot less now than he did the past 2 or 3 years. He's brought that down, but that's coaching, I believe. And there's a whole bunch of other guys I can name that they're running a heartbeat and they don't mess around. They will do that quickly. So why is it bad for Dart to do it all of a sudden? I'm kind of worried about some of the comments that we've been hearing about that. But what do you think about the media bias and Dart, Shador, his Dart's running, whatever?
So the Shador versus Dart thing to me is really just a product of oh God, is her name Josina Anderson?
Mm-hmm.
Because there was a lot of talk pre-draft about if the Giants were going to take a quarterback, and I think a lot of people thought Shador might be an option there, but we also saw prominent people in the media, mocking Shador to Pittsburgh down at wherever they were in, I think it was like 21 or something like that, or was it like 25? I don't know. Either way, it was to Pittsburgh, was a popular one. And Shador seemed to be all over the place in a lot of people's mock drafts. And a lot of people are like, oh my God, Shador fell all the way to the 5th. This is crazy. I know some people who are deemed out there with their thoughts on Shador, that had him going in the 2nd round, we're like feeling pretty validated there, but I don't think anybody foresaw him falling to the 5th. And a lot of that seems to be character related. Now, the Giants were heavily linked to Shador in part because of 2 things. The first was that Shador cleats photo, where I think it was before their bowl game. He had the Giants cleats in his locker. Although according to multiple sources, I think it was his dad who came out and said that he didn't only have Giants cleats. Out of the frame of the photo, there were cleats of other teams. And then a video came out of him meeting up with Malik Neighbors in New York, and they were tossing the ball around a bit, and they were talking. So he was trying to, it seems, paint himself as connected to the Giants. And I'm sure the Giants did their due diligence. And then with the combine interviews, that seems to have not gone over very well. And he seems to have had a particularly bad one with the Giants. Let's just put it that way. They gave him some questions that he wasn't ready for. And according to the Giants, he had a bad reaction. He had some questionable temperament there. And it was just a whole mess. Then the Browns draft Shador. Shador has one great preseason game, and Josina Anderson does the whole Giants fans watch out. And it's like, why are you saying Giants fans? Like, 32 teams passed on him at least 4 times. The Browns drafted a quarterback before they drafted him. The Steelers, another team that needed a quarterback. He could have sat behind Aaron Rodgers for a few years. The Saints could have drafted him, but she specifically calls out the Giants. And that seems to have been why this whole Giants and Dart versus Browns and Steelers, honestly, it doesn't even feel like it's the Browns and Shador. Sorry, I said the Steelers. The Browns and Shador. It feels like it's just Shador fanatics and some people in the media versus Jackson Dart and the Giants.
I don't know there's such a thing as that. Shador, who's a fanatic for Shador? I don't know anybody that's think people just listen to
Clearly, you're
that
not
hype.
on Twitter as much as I am, man. Like,
No, I
oh
mean,
my God, these people are
I was on there
insane.
during that time. Yeah, but are they shit off
These
for that,
people are
or they just,
insane, dude.
or they just, or they just drinking the media Kool-Aid?
I don't know
All these
what they're
same guys
doing.
do the same thing.
They think, they legitimately believe there is a conspiracy out there by the Browns and the NFL to put Shador down for
I was on Twitter. When I was going on, and I jumped on in their threads, and I was like, "You need to stop
This is
this.
crazy.
This isn't one. This is not
And
racial."
but these people to this day are like, Shador last week got the Rookie of the Week award for his phenomenal performance against the Titans.
Okay.
And they're out here flexing like talking about how he's clearly the best quarterback in this class, how he should have been the number 1 overall pick, how every team regrets not taking him, calling Cam Ward terrible, calling Dart terrible, calling Shuck terrible, calling every other quarterback that seems to have gotten every other rookie quarterback that's gotten any playing time terrible compared to Shador, because Shador got Rookie of the Week. And then Giants fans responded with, Dart got Rookie of the Month. What are you talking about? And they're talking about how Shador's award is better for some. Again, that wasn't what I wanted to talk about specifically with Dart, though. The media narrative that I wanted to get into about Dart was the running thing. Because I think the people in the media are crazy. And that includes not just the national media. It seems like Giants beat writers too, who every time Dart runs, it seems like these people are up in arms. You had people on call, on the game, the announcers on the game, talking about how they need to stop calling these quarterback runs. Why? Yes, Jackson Dart needs to protect himself a bit better. He needs to slide. He needs to not fight for every single yard every single time and take unnecessary hits, because he is not built like Josh Allen or Justin Herbert or Cam Newton or Ben Roethlisberger or any of those guys. He is built closer to Jaden Daniels, and Jaden Daniels takes way too much punishment.
Ooh,
and he's now done for the year. He's sustained at least one injury that I remember. His rookie year that kept him out at least a little bit of time. And then this year he has played, gotten hurt, tried to come back, gotten hurt again. And now he's done for the year. I think they announced today he will not be playing another game this year.
He got hurt at LSU too. Jay Daniels is thin, man. Them two guys, they not built the same.
But Dart's running ability is a part of his game. You can't cut it out completely and still have the same quarterback. Right now, Jackson Dart is on a 17-game pace for, I think, almost 4,000 yards, 37 total touchdowns, and under 10 turnovers. Like, that would be a fantastic season.
If you look at it with your eyes.
But a huge chunk of that is he's on pace for, I think it's like almost 4,000 passing yards, but then he would have like 500-600 rushing yards on top of that, and he would have like 13 rushing touchdowns. And that's like what you need. Like from him, like that is a massive part of his game. But every time someone breathes on him, you've got the NFL calling in the calling in to have him be taken out, to go to the blue tent, to get his head checked out. And it's like, then you rewatch the clip and it's like, why? That one last night at the goal line, his head didn't hit anything. The two Washington defenders' heads hit each other. But Jackson Dart now has to miss 2 plays at the goal line because of this. And I have a theory. I want you to tell me what you think. I think it has gotten blown up to the way it is by the national media. I think it is kind of like this self-sustaining cycle almost, where the moment Brian Dable lost his cool and barged into the blue tent yelling about getting Dart back out there, I think that was in the Eagles game. That first Eagles game where we was like, we can only win this game if we have Dart, because they were still playing Russ. And Dable barges in there. That creates these headlines. All of a sudden, now all of this attention is drawn to the fact that Dart is not protecting himself as much as he should. So now you've got national media talking about it, which fuels the NFL being like, oh my God, player safety, concussions. And now it's this self-sustaining cycle of, okay, now we have to be extra cautious with Dart, and because no other quarterback seems to be getting this treatment. So they start calling it more like every time, which then fuels the media being, oh my God, Dart can't protect himself. The Giants are freaking idiots. They don't know how to coach him. And then it just repeats and repeats and repeats. And it drives me up a wall, because now there's this narrative out here that he's a mixture of Tua and Joe Burrow, where it's like every hit
No.
is going to break him. And every time someone breathes on his helmet, he has a concussion, when he has missed 2 games because of a concussion. He has been diagnosed with 1 concussion, and it was the one time the NFL didn't call for him to be evaluated. The Giants themselves did. Like, it drives me up a wall, man. It drives me crazy. And now, like, we can't not have Dart run. That's not who he is. If we want to maximize this kid, he's going to run. I don't know, man. What do you think? Right. What do you think? I think I spent like a good 20 minutes there.
No, it wasn't that bad. But in regards to this idea that we should get away from using Dart as a runner, I think that's idiotic. I've mentioned, I was probably, when I had a previous sports show where we talked about the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, the whole 9 yards. And we talked extensively about Lamar Jackson, quarterback of the Ravens, for those who don't know. And in his formative years in the NFL, after he guaranteed a Super Bowl for the Ravens on draft day, he was essentially, he had happy feet, and he would run almost instinctively every time there was any kind of pressure, not even a full-out blitz, not even defense going zero on him. He would still be running. And he paid a heavy cost for that. He was injured almost every single year that happened. And what I was saying to some of the guys on the podcast was, I'm not against him running, but it needs to be situational. It needs to be where he's mindful of what's going on and be safe and not, taking these headshots and unnecessary hits. So I'm not against a running quarterback. Nobody cared about that when Michael Vick was out there. People were happy with it because of the dividend they were seeing from it. So it was okay then. But now these guys are trying to do the same thing. It's like it's some kind of new anomaly now. Like, oh my, concussions, head injuries, that kind of stuff. This stuff is happening for guys just getting tackled. I seen that 4 times last week. Last week meaning this week. We're in the last day of the NFL week 15. I seen that 4 times just yesterday. Guys getting tackled and their helmets hitting the ground. So it's not just quarterbacks. It's happening all over the place. It's not even vindictive. It's just incidents that are happening. You can't really avoid that kind of stuff. You can't have Dart's not. If you watch Dart's Ole Miss career, you'll see he's not primarily a pocket passer. The threat for him to run, kept opposing defenses on their heels. Is part of who he is. You can't take that kind of stuff away. So that's just ridiculous. We had to go any further than that. In regards to the frenzy about it, I'm just like, I don't know if I understand all this going on. Did Dart have 4 concussions?
No, he did not. He was evaluated. He's been evaluated a total of 5 times. So he's in half the games he's played, he has had to go in for an evaluation. Of those 5 evaluations, 4 were because the NFL or someone at the NFL called. They saw something. They're like, he needs to be evaluated. Of those 4 NFL calls, zero times did he have a concussion. The one other was the Giants calling for it themselves, and that was the time he had a concussion.
Exactly. The hypocrisy is thick. I watched that year. Well, it's probably been more than 1 year, but I know there was 1 year. I want to say 23, but I'm not sure, regarding Tua in Miami, where he had multiple in one season. And I don't think I heard anybody calling from anywhere to say, get this man checked out. There were times where he went on the sidelines and went back out. No quote unquote concussion protocol. You hear about it in message boards with fans like, yo, get this guy checked out. And he was in the danger zone a whole bunch of times. But it seems like now Dart is being put in this category. I'm like, I don't think it applies. I don't think this is the same kind of situation. So honestly, I think as the team gets better and they improve in all facets of the game, perhaps, and I'm just hopeful, we won't be seeing this as much, and we'll hopefully have enough credibility with the referees, because honestly, that plays a part too. Like I said yesterday, I saw multiple guys with helmet shots, or their helmets hitting the ground, and the referees were non-responsive. So I'm really hoping that as a quarterback, he's able to get some kind of a benefit of the doubt when it comes to certain shots. Right now, I don't think he's getting that, maybe because the Giants are doing so poorly, maybe because he's a rookie. He didn't, earn his keep yet. But I'm really hoping that, that changes as we're more successful, because honestly, I see quarterbacks get lesser calls than the ones that we're hoping that Doc gets now. So I think you're right, man. I don't think this is bias that's warranted. The whole running quarterback thing, we got that going on. I don't know how many. I can't think of one team that doesn't have a running quarterback on it at somewhere. I think everybody. Herbert runs when the opportunity presents itself, but he's essentially a pocket passer. I mean, I see this up all the time. It's not even an anomaly anymore. Everybody, all the quarterbacks are doing that. Tyler Shuck is not a serious to run, but he does it, and nobody says anything about it. Now, if Dart can't get the ball to somebody down the field because they can't get separation or whatever, what do you want him to do? What else can he do but chuck it and run with it to try to get the first down and keep the chains moving? So I don't know what they're asking for. Maybe as we move along, we hear more details on what the whole problem is, but just on the surface, I don't really get it. So we can go ahead and move on, man, because I don't really get what all the hubbub's about, man. Quarterbacks are running when an opportunity. Jordan Love does it. He did it all yesterday. When the opportunity presented itself, he did that. I've seen it everywhere. Burrow does it. He had a history of serious injuries, and he's still doing it. So I'm like, why is Dart not supposed to do it?
People act like Dart has a history of concussions like Tua does, or a history of elbow tears and ACLs or something. Like, people act like he's got this history. And that's the thing that frustrates me the most. Like, there's this, like, Joe Burrow, to keep on with Burrow, rolled out of the pocket yesterday, and instead of like throwing the ball away or sliding to protect himself or something, he kept going, and on the move, he threw a pass and he got leveled. He just took a shot. If that was Dart, people would be up in arms about it. And I've seen people say that exact thing. Like, Giants fans talking about this exactly, like with that exact hit. Like, that's what, I saw some people talking about. I'm like, no, they're absolutely right. Like, I just don't understand why this fascination specifically with Dart. Is it because of the constant evaluations? Because, like, yes, it's annoying that he's getting evaluated, but he's only gotten one concussion. Only one. And And the one that he did get wasn't one of Tua's, where this is going to be in poor taste, but like Tua gets those scary ones where the body goes stiff as a board and like he's like doing that thing with his arm and he's kind of looks like he's shaking. Like Dart wasn't like that. He got a concussion,
No,
seemed a bit out of it stayed in for 2 plays, seemed a bit out of it. And the Giants were like, okay, something's off. Get him in there. We're checking him out. So I don't understand where this narrative surrounding Dart came from.
I don't know, man. I, I don't see how you can have bias with a quarterback that just got here 5 minutes ago. I don't know how how he has this level of reverse popularity. I don't understand how this is possible. He hasn't been here that long for this, so I don't get that, man. Quarterbacks are taking hits, man. This is just happening. I don't understand.
Again, I don't think this is a Dart specific thing. But the truth is, like I said earlier, he does need to learn to slide and protect himself better so that way he isn't taking such punishing blows because, again, they will shorten his career. Cam Newton was significantly bigger and thicker than him. Cam Newton's career ended because of the amount of punishment his body took, and he just broke down. Like, Cam Scatterbo, I am more concerned about actually having his career ended due to head trauma. But that dude's a psychopath. Like, he's already not all the way there. You know? Like,
share that in common to a degree.
That concerns me. Makes them special.
I'm concerned. I mean, but come on. I mean, this can go a lot of places, man. Look at, we mentioned Tyler Stricker earlier. He had a hit and just saw it in the news that he basically said, you know what, I kind of oversold the hit and they had to take him to the tent for evaluation. Same thing we were saying about Dart. He talked about he oversold it a little bit and it wasn't as bad, but they didn't have any timeouts. So I mean, this kind of stuff is not unique. This stuff happens more than we hear about. This is one time that we're hearing about it in print, but this is happening all the time. So to your point, like you said earlier, man, yeah, he evaluated, but there was really not a lot of causes for it. And there was no determination that, you know what, he's going into the protocol for however many days. So I don't know, but we'll just keep watching the Giants and see how they do because they're staying competitive, just not winning games. And I'm not even sure if it's a good idea to even win games at this point because they're sitting with the top pick. And last time I checked, anyways, I don't know what it is today, but last time I checked, they had the top pick, and that's what everybody wanted last year. Everybody wanted us to have the top pick and to pick whoever. I guess they Karen Ward. I never really felt that way, but that's just me though. I watched Miami that year, so but I never felt that way. But here we are, potentially with the number one pick. We're not taking Fernando. You can bet on that. So even though people all say, you know what, maybe Dart's not the guy, we should get Fernando. I'm like, man, you guys are idiots.
Those people are
keep your thoughts to yourself. Don't say anything. These ideas they're not only incendiary, but they're really ignorant and not well thought out. So right. I ignore that kind of stuff. I bypass that stuff. I don't even waste time with it. Because you really think that I don't even believe that Mendoza is better than Dart. I'm gonna just put it out there and just say that. I don't even think that. Like he's the number one pick. I don't think he's better than that.
I think as a prospect, he checks a couple boxes that Dart didn't. But he's not like if we had the number one overall pick and there was a prospect like Trevor Lawrence. Again, I know what Trevor Lawrence hasn't lived up to the hype. He had a phenomenal game against the Jets the other day, but he has not lived up to the hype that he had, coming out of college. But if there was a Trevor Lawrence or an Andrew Luck guy, like if Arch Manning lived up to everything people wanted him to be this year, won the Heisman, Texas is undefeated, historic season, Arch was that guy. If Arch was that guy and we had the number one overall pick, I would consider it. But Mendoza is not that. Dante Moore is not that. Like, I'm not even saying I would necessarily draft it because, like, clearly the guys in the locker room love Dart. He's been very good. You know, like there is no reason to assume, like, and
He's our
dear
QB of
Lord,
the
what
future.
you
He
could
don't
get
need
for
to go
that draft
anywhere.
pick. You could get like 3 years of first round picks minimum
Potentially.
for like
Potentially.
if there was a Trevor Lawrence or an Andrew Luck, and you are the New York Giants, and the Jets are right there, and I think I'm going to use this to kind of transit. If Fernando Mendoza was Andrew Luck or Trevor Lawrence as a prospect, and the Jets are sitting there at like 7 or 8, right? And you have number 1, you could get the Jets' first round pick this year, the pick they have from the Colts this year, and then all 3 of their first round picks next year. You can get 5 first round picks for them to move up for a guy like Trevor Lawrence. You know, again, Trevor Lawrence, the prospect, not Trevor Lawrence, the NFL player. And I think
I wonder what the
absolutely-
Raiders would do. I like the Jet scenario. We talked about offline. What about the Raiders? Let's include them in this conversation because if anybody needs a quarterback with a high level of desperation, my God, I don't think Pickett's going to be it. And Geno Smith, I think they already figured out that that's just not going to work out.
Yeah, it's a weird one because for me, it's where the reason that the Jets or the Browns are so intriguing is you could especially with the Jets, you could theoretically get 2 first round picks this year and 1 more next year, or 2 first round picks this year and then their second rounder this year. Like, they just have more capital to throw, but you'd also most likely be moving further back. Right now, the Raiders have the 2nd overall pick.
Exactly. Not a big move up.
I don't know how much you could get to trade back from 1 to 2. I was it 2017 that the Bears did it? Hold on, let me check one thing. NFL trades going from pick 1 to pick 2. Well, no, it's a move. Jaguars traded up to 2, but I can't find the exact trade.
No worries. Let's keep moving.
Sorry. Actually, I think that was from 3 to 2 because Myles Garrett that year. Anyways, sorry. You got me going down a rabbit hole here.
Wait a minute now. I didn't make you do this.
Yeah. You, the general, you. Got me going down a rabbit hole. But anyways, like, I don't know what that trade would look like. We'd get number 2. We'd probably get their 2nd round pick, and then I don't know, maybe we'd get a 2nd round pick next year or something like that. I don't know if we'd get an extra first, but then you could also do the sort of thing where it's like, okay, they go up, they take Fernando Mendoza, and then you're at number 2, and it's like, all right, who wants to trade up to draft Dante Moore? And then you could auction off pick number 2 as well. So I know in a recent PFF mock draft, they had the Giants trading back with the Jets. PFF mock draft. Let's here we go. Let's see.
Did we see that one?
The New York Jets, the New York Giants sent number 1 overall pick to New York Jets for number 5, number 37, a 2027 first, and a 2027 second. Now, I don't know which of the first round picks it is. If it's the Jets' first round pick next year, I'd do that in a heartbeat. Honestly, I still think I do it regardless. But if you can get the Colts' first round pick next year or the Jets' first round pick next year out of that trade, I think that is something you absolutely have to do, because especially since you're only trading from 1 to 5, that would be huge. Because you're still then in position to potentially draft Caleb Downs, Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson, probably any offensive lineman, although I don't think you would You could trade back further if you wanted to go O-line. Maybe you want to draft Peter Woods on the defensive line. Like, there's still a lot of options available to you. You're probably not getting Arvell Reese. You're not getting Ruben Bain. But, I don't think you need a Ruben Bain unless you're trading Kayvon Thibodeau. But I don't see us doing that right now.
Yeah, this is a peculiar spot. This is gonna be probably one of the most interesting drafts that we see in a long time. I want to tell you why I think this. I don't think there's anything that can change my mind. I think this is set in stone for the most part for this particular reason. But us being so high at the top of this draft, I think that's very, very interesting, especially because I believe we already had the QB of the future. So that means that either we're taking somebody who we love that much at number one, or we're trading back for capital, which I think we should do. I've been on the record for that, especially with the lack of comps this year. Last time I checked, and I don't think we even have a third either. So this is a good chance to get some capital. But when it comes to guys who need capital, so when we talk about guys who don't have the quarterback of the future yet, it gets really, really interesting right here. The Raiders, we talked about that, they could probably add 2 right now. Don't see that changing so far, but they're going to be at 2. Definitely got to have a quarterback. So what are they doing? I wouldn't want to trade with them because of what you said. It's not a big jump up, so we're going to get less. The Jets are at 5. I don't think see any way in the world they're not trying to get a quarterback because I don't think they like Fields enough. Keep him around.
The Raiders, I think them and the Raiders are the 2 teams most likely to draft quarterback this year.
I think there's still more.
Well, the issue is also
at 6, 7, and 13. I don't think any of them guys are totally sold at their QB position. Arizona is definitely not.
The issue is
I'm not sure that they like
only 2 guys right now that look like first round quarterbacks. That's the big thing. Like, it is not like there are not a ton of options.
They said that last year, though.
Fernando Mendoza. Well, yeah,
nobody
and then
mentioned Dart last year.
Went in the first round, and then only 2 went in the first round. You had Cam Ward and Jackson Dart. Those, I think, were the only 2 quarterbacks to go first round last year. There's Fernando.
That's not what we thought. That's not what anybody thought, though. They said Cam Ward, Shador, and it was somebody else who I'm missing here. It's not Dart. It was somebody else who was in the running for this. And all of a sudden,
the QB out of Alabama, who's in Seattle now.
No, it's no Jalen Milroe. That's not what I'm thinking about. This was somebody a little higher up than that. But go ahead, keep talking. I'll find it. Keep talking. I don't want to bury us trying to find it. I'll find it. Yeah,
so for right now,
I'll just keep going.
Right now, the only first round quarterbacks I think are going to be Fernando Mendoza, and he's the only guarantee because the other guy that I think would definitely go first round, Dante Moore, is not a guarantee to declare for the draft. Lenora Sellers, I think, is staying in college. Ty Simpson, I think, has played himself out of first round draft type, so he might also stay in college. Drew Aller's coming off of the injury, so I don't think he's going to be a first round pick.
I got that.
Who else is there that we're going to be worth?
Honestly, I have no idea, but I'm saying it because
Garrett Nussmeyer's definitely not going first round. Jaden Mayaba's not going first round. Mateer's not going first round.
But at the same time, we say that, but we don't really know that. These guys are desperate. The Cards are desperate. They have to do something. Jacoby Brissett, I feel like he should get a start. Him and Mariota should get starting jobs somewhere. They've done that well. Mariota has probably a 10 or 11 game streak where he's had 300 yards passing. That's fantastic. Mariota, something similar is going on with him too over there in Washington. So they deserve that, but are their team going to keep them around as backups, or they're going to give them a chance to be a number one somewhere else? So the Cards need somebody. The Saints may not be sold on Tyler Shuck. I don't know why you wouldn't give it a try. I mean, look where you got him. So I don't know. Miami, the situation that's not locked in stone. What you mentioned earlier about Tua and all of the head injuries. How do you not think about QB somewhere in that draft, even if it's not at 13, which is kind of early for that. And based on what you named, no guys are first round material. So there's some teams after that, it falls all the way down to the second round, where I don't think no team needs to have a quarterback early. So besides those, the Raiders and the Jets, the Cards, maybe the Saints, maybe Miami, that's 5 teams. So it's like this is an interesting situation to be in. And this turned to a bidding war for the top pick from these guys. A lot of great things can happen. We did a mock draft, and I think the Saints were in one of those trades offers to us. The Jets were. I don't recall anything from Arizona at all, or Miami. But the Saints, the Jets, Las Vegas offered us trades in our mock draft, and it was another team that offered some crazy stuff to us that we didn't take.
Offered, Steelers offered.
Cleveland did, right. Cleveland did, yeah. So this could be very good for us if the right team offers the right thing for us. This could be really, really good.
Oh, yeah, no. Look, if the Jets come calling, offering first this year, second this year, first next year, second next year, I think you take that and you don't think twice. If the Saints, are like, look, we like Shuck, but we want to go in a different direction. What can they offer? There's plenty of opportunity here, for the Giants to make some like big moves and big trades. But it's all gonna. I think the outcome of this draft is going to come down to Giants Raiders, and I think that's week 17, the second to last week of the year, which is coming up soon. I don't think the Giants beat the Vikings. And I don't think we beat the Cowboys. Yeah, we play the Vikings this weekend. I think we lose. We go to the Raiders on the 28th. I think we lose. And then we host the Cowboys on January 4th to end the year. I think we lose that game against the Raiders, but I think that will be the only game moving forward that we are favored in. And if we end up winning that game, we are going to need a lot of help to maintain that first overall pick.
Yeah, I think we can just go ahead and keep on losing. I think it'll be fine. There's no real value in moving out of that spot. I mean, if we fell down to 2, we probably still have some bargaining power, but I wouldn't risk it. I would just stay here. And matter of fact, here's a question I really want to ask this, but I don't want us to extend this, but so much. So I want to get into the head coaching discussion that you want to talk about offline. But just a quick question to think about: it is a good time to sit Dart?
No. I mean,
you answered too fast. You didn't think about it. You really should think about it just at least 2 seconds.
I'd say no because I want him to get experience. Like at the end of the day, he gives us the best chance to win, and that's where my hesitancy comes from. Nothing about Dart, the player, am I all that concerned about? Again, would I like him to slide a bit more? Yes. Do I think it's anywhere near as big of a deal as some people make it out to be? No. My only hesitancy is, well, I mean, if we really want that first overall pick, just start Russ, but they're never going to do that. They will never do that. So my answer is no. Now, in terms of the head coaching search, I think we got that first official list of names.
Oh boy, what's this name?
And hold on, let me pull it up here. Giants coaching search.
Because I don't think I see it. When did this come out? I didn't see anything recently. So I don't. Well, recently meaning last week.
This came out like a day or so ago.
I didn't see it. Okay.
Diana Rossini of The Athletic reported that the Giants are heavily looking into Notre Dame head coach Marcus Freeman, Indianapolis Colts defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo, Green Bay Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley, Washington Commanders offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury, and Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak. They are the top of the Giants' wish list. And honestly, if you replace
Didn't Shane say he didn't want a college coach? We are not looking at college coaches. Did he not say that?
I don't remember
I
Shane
read
ever
that.
saying anything
about it
about
on the
college
show.
coaches, but there
We talked
is
about
a
it on the
college
show.
coach in there. Marcus Freeman is in that list.
Yeah, we talked about it. We talked about it like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't remember Shane saying anything specific about like, look, we're gonna look at college coaches. I think it was we're casting a wide net, and that included college coaches. Not that they are specifically, ooh, who's the hot college coach to? No, I don't think anything like that. And quite honestly, I don't want them to bring in a college coach. College football is very different than pro football. It's one of the reasons you don't tend to see too much success when a college coach goes up to the pros, or even when a pro coach goes down to college. The only one that I can think of off of the top of my head that has had a lot of success is Pete Carroll. But Nick Saban didn't have too much success coming up here. Couldn't figure out the quarterback, and they said no to Drew Brees. So who knows? What's his face in Carolina, who a lot of Giants fans wanted? What was his name? He was at Baylor. He came up, coach of Carolina. That was a disaster. Now he's back in college. Oh my God. What's his name?
I'll look for it. Keep going.
But yeah, if you just replaced Anarumo with Shula, the Rams defensive coordinator, I would not be too. I'm actually pretty happy with that list. Kingsbury, I'm not thrilled about, but he's clearly had success as an offensive mind. Should we give him a second chance? Maybe a lot of his issues in Arizona were more about Kyler than anything else. But I love Clint Kubiak. I like Hafley. But I don't love Freeman, and I don't love Anarumo. Matt Rule, thank you for saying that.
I feel like we have. From what I'm hearing, I feel like we have more options than that, because this has become a destination, which is a good thing for us in our situation. We need to have that. I'm hoping that we're not limited to that. I hope that's not what we're limited, because
we're not limited to that. But if Diana Rossini is to be believed, these are the guys that are on the top of the Giants wish list. Now that might change if, and hopefully when, Shane is let go. Because as of right now, we have to operate under the assumption that Shane is leading this head coaching search. Now it could change dramatically if Shane is let go and Mara takes over. Now I would think that would be then more about Mara looking at, okay, who's the GM gonna be, rather than who's the head coach. So the GM then, if you're going to be bringing in a GM, you're going to want him to be like, yeah, I'm going to bring it, are you going to let me bring in my coaches or not? And if you say no to that, you're probably going to lose a lot of GM candidates. So.
Yeah, I honestly, maybe it's too early for me to kind of really get into this as much as we'd like to, because we don't seem to have any final candidates yet. We're kind of just talking, and since the season's still going on, these guys still have jobs, most of them. It feels like maybe this is kind of premature, but I'm not against Hafley. I kind of liked him from the start. I think like Hafley and then Kubiak. I forgot who your third guy was. I don't think I have a third guy yet. McCarthy was somebody we talked about, but don't hear his name unless you just lay it out now.
I know he's gotten some eyes on him.
Kingsbury. I mean, I think I'm more concerned. Not saying we should get a crap head coach, somebody average. Trust me, that's not what I'm saying. That's all we've been through the past 14 years or so. We need to get this stuff right at GM and everywhere else. But I just kind of feel like I'm really concerned about the guys that come in as the position coaches. I'm watching that really, really closely, because I feel like that is going to be an underrated key in all of this stuff, because the head coach does what head coaches do. But at the end of the day, the guy's going to come in as the OC, QB coach, like we talked about earlier, for obvious reasons. If you haven't heard that, go back and check out the beginning of our show. You hear why I said QB coach are going to be critical for us because of Dart's development. Tight end coaches, we got some potential with what we have right now. That may change. I don't know if Belgium is going to be on the team, but that could change. But we got a lot of potential there. And with Fedone there, we had a lot of potential. Somebody got to tap into that and make that thing work for us because we haven't been viable at the tight end spot for a long time. I won't say as far back as Mark Ferraro and Jeremy Shockey, but we haven't been productive there for a long time. So position coaches, I'm watching that real close. I want a good head coach, the best one that we can get. But those position coaches, I'm super concerned. Even on the D-line, I'm concerned about DC. I'm concerned about the special teams coach because that has been an abject failure for us. Special team coaches have been horrible for us for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really concerned about that. So that's what I'm watching. I'm not ready to pick a head coach. I don't know. I think Happy is my top person, but that's only because of the option that we have, and not so much because I think he's a runaway that much better. I'm with you, Andrew. Happy. I mean, I can't go any more than that. I said Kingsbury in the beginning, but I'm hedging because I'm like, offensively, I'm sure he can help us, but I'd rather have him as an OC than I would as a head coach. Mike McCarthy, it's not the worst thing in the world, but this thing that I saw at Dallas, I'm like, is that going to be good for us? What happens when we play Dallas and he's the head coach? I'm thinking all kind of stuff right now, all kind of scenarios. So I don't know, man. I think Hafley right now is it, but that's only because, again, nobody's wowing me so far because it's not really a process yet. But those position coaches, we got to get that thing right. That's going to be the key. I don't think it's going to even be the head coach. Those other people surrounding him, that's what's going to be where we live or die. So my personal opinion, we're getting the more as we hear more about this and as we get closer to the end of the season, and then we'll know for sure what's going to be happening. Got anything else before we shut it down, man?
Nah, man, I think we got a lot more out of this one than I think we expected to.
Yeah, without question. You did fantastic, man. Thanks again for jumping in here, brother. Appreciate you, man. And for all you guys watching and listening to the Big Blue Lifers podcast, that's Jess. I'm Mr. U. We talk all things New York Football Giants. And even though the season's almost over, still a whole lot to talk about. So stay tuned with us. Catch us on Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and the Gram. All right? Have a great day. And thanks again for watching and for listening.